So, we've been looking at houses for quite some time and you think you found the one, but you think you also want to sleep on it, which is fine. But do understand that when we're in a seller's market where houses are selling very quickly, if you wait till the next day, you may wake up to find that somebody has already written an offer and it's no longer available, or you wake up and find out that more than one set of buyers also wanted to sleep on it and they want to write an offer too. You're now in competing offers. If that's the case, here's what we do. To have the best chance of having your offer accepted, you need to write your best offer. Now, I'm going to share with you some tips on what you need to take into consideration to make that happen. The first thing is price. In a competing offer situation, you may not have an opportunity to change your offer once we've submitted it to the buyer. So you want to make your offer as attractive as possible. And with price, what that's often going to mean is offering at least full price. And in a seller's market, that sometimes means that a home is going to go for over asking. So I want you to write an offer as high as you're comfortable with, but also at a number where you also still qualify. Now, a word of caution, don't get caught up in the I've got to win this house at all costs. There are some certain things you want to take into consideration. If you think there is a possibility that you might need to move in a year or two, say there's a chance that maybe you could have a job transfer that's going to take you out of the city, you want to be very careful about how much you are willing to go up. Because remember, if you're selling in a seller's market where the prices are up here, markets go in cycles. So you're selling in a seller's market, eventually it's going to go down to a balanced market and perhaps even a buyer's market. And if you have to move before the market goes back up again, maybe you might want to think about what you were willing to pay in the first price. Now, something to take into consideration as well, though, is that if you think you're going to be in the home 5 or more years, this isn't as much of a consideration, so simply go with the price you're most comfortable with. The next thing to take into consideration is the possession date. This is often overlooked. A seller may be willing to accept a little less money if you give them the perfect possession. So do have your realtor check with the seller's realtor to see what is their preferred possession date. Do your best to give it to them. So conditions, you're probably going to need to write 2 conditions into your offer, financing and home inspection. But what you want to do is try to keep those conditions, the due dates, as narrow as you possibly can. Don't have them drag out forever. So with your financing condition, check with your lender or your mortgage broker to see how long is needed to have those conditions approved. Try to keep it in as tight a time frame as possible, but you do need to give your lender the amount of time they need to get that financing approved. You absolutely should still have a home inspection condition. The last thing you want to do is write an offer without that condition, then you move into your home and discover there's a problem with the roof or a problem with the foundation. Get a home inspection. And under most circumstances, those are probably the only 2 conditions I would recommend. If you have to sell your home, it's highly unlikely that the seller is going to accept that condition. So if there is a home to sell, discuss that with your realtor and they can advise you on what you need to do before you go out looking at homes. And do your best to keep any additional terms to an absolute minimum. Now really isn't the time to be asking the sellers to have their house professionally cleaned. In this circumstance, I think you just want to accept you're going to have to get it done. For many of us, where we live holds an emotional connection. It's not just a house, it's a home. And one of the most appealing things you can do for a seller is to write a personal note from you to the seller to tell them how much you love their home and how you hope to make it your own. Rick Easthope on our team took it one step further when he and his clients found themselves in a competing offer situation. And I'm going to let Rick tell you the story.
With my client and he said, let's go 710. And I just asked him, would you be upset if you lost it over, like say if it was 720, would you be upset? And he said, yep. I said, so I think we should write 720. And as soon as I was saying that, his wife would go, I'd be mad if we lost it over 725. And I said, well, then you have to write 725. And we decided $127,000 over list price. And we were able to get it. That family is absolutely tickled pink on that purchase because it really was a good buy at the end of it. I think it probably could have sold for a lot higher. It could have sold in that 750 range. In fact, I hung up the phone with them and I was driving away thinking, oh, should I phone them back? Because I know how bad they wanted the home. They really, really wanted it. And we followed that offer up with a note from their son, and he was super excited and talked about how he's already playing in the back and skating on the ice in the backyard. There was ice back then. Skating on the ice, and their school's right in the area. And so we submitted that letter along with our offer. And it's just been a wonderful story because it was an estate property, and the owner left lots of things for the family to remember. And the son has a big airplane photo that's in his room, and we've been in there with designers and going to do a little bit of a rental in there, and the family's super excited. So that was a fun one. That was probably one of my most exciting ones I've ever done.
Wasn't that great? I love that story. Now, guys, I'm always here for any advice, so please, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, or you can DM, text, or email me, and of course you can call. And please remember to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button.